Hi guys, hi guys, hi guys, hi guys, hi guys, it's Lottie and welcome to my channel. Hi guys, so a question I get asked a lot is where do you live? And a bit creepy, but I thought I would answer it seriously. So I live in the southeast of England, near a little town called Farnham. I live in a village that's in the middle of the countryside. In the middle of nowhere, there's one bus that takes you out of the village. Closest thing is Farnham, and that's a half-hour drive away, hour and a bit bus journey. But I decided I would take this really seriously and I'd do a bit of research into where I live, and I thought I would tell you, a little bit about where I live and the history. And I found this amazing love story. So, I've not got this memorised. Back in 1503, the majority of Headley, which is another village where I live, was privately owned by a rich family called the Downings. So it was Lord Charles Downing and his family. He had a daughter called Elizabeth, and I think he only had one daughter, the rest were sons. And her mother died during childbirth, so she was raised mostly by the servants because it was seen as unfit for the lord to raise a child. So back in 1503, it was common for teenagers as young as 13, so a couple of years younger than me, to be married off and never seen again by their family. While being raised by the servants, Elizabeth fell in love with the cook's son, Robert Cook, which is, they fell in love, but due to the etiquette at the time, she was too rich for him, she wasn't engaged, they weren't a suitable match. So her father made a deal to get her engaged to Lord Moore. I think it was Owen Moore. She found out, she wouldn't have found out, but she did. It doesn't say how, and she stormed into the meeting, had a massive fit, said, "I'm not going to marry you," and it was between Lord Moore and Lord Downing, and you can imagine how embarrassed he was. So Lord Moore refused to marry Elizabeth because apparently she was a lady with no manners, and Lord Downing believed that this was because of the lack of ladylike influence in her life. So he sent her to a convent for 2 years. Elizabeth and Robert didn't see each other for 2 entire years, which is really, really sad. And then when she returned, she was perfect lady, all the manners, and there was no shortage of eligible suitors waiting to be married to her. And soon she was engaged to Matthew Langley, who is a young rich guy, come from a lot of money, and she got married to him within a year of her return. But during that year she had been meeting up with Robert again, and unfortunately, as it was frowned upon and she was now a lady, they met up in secret on a bridge in the forest, which was owned by the Downings. And then Elizabeth left that winter and she didn't tell Robert, and he was sat there waiting for a week for her. She never came. Eventually he died of hypothermia in the cold, freezing winter, alone. All he had was love letters from her, and I think that's really sad, I guess. So anyway, through my research I found out that the bridge that they used to meet on is now a public footpath, and the wood estate's the borders have been shortened up, and so I thought I would take Layla out and we'd have a bit of an adventure and I'd show you guys. So that's where we're going. You ready? Hi guys, so I'm here at the bridge where Elizabeth and Robert used to meet up, out of sight of Elizabeth's father, and it is
absolutely beautiful, and I don't know how well my iPhone's going to capture this, because I obviously couldn't carry a big clunky camera around with me, but it is absolutely stunning. There's a beautiful sound of birds in the background. There's a nice little stream that's just gently flowing, and you can just picture where they all used to meet, and you can kind of see over there Headley Wood Estate, the private side, is where the borders now are for the private estate. This entire wood from either side used to be part of the Headley Wood Estate that the Downings used to own, and I didn't realise. I walked my dog here ages. I've walked little Layla, and it's beautiful. And if you just look at the old brickwork, for example, it's just so old and traditional. And if you look over here, actually, this is where Elizabeth and Robert used to sit on this little seat here. They used to sit down and they used to go, "Oh, I love you," and they would go, "Oh, I love you too." And now it's completely covered in moss from ages of it not being used, and they used to leave little love notes under there, and it's just sweet. And obviously it's not winter now, but when it is winter, it's freezing here, and there's no leaves, there's no warmth or anything. And in those days, when there weren't any thermal coats or anything, you can just imagine Robert sitting here, freezing cold, waiting for Elizabeth, and you can imagine how heartbroken and shattered he was when she just didn't turn up. And I think that for me is just part of what the love story is. That's why I love love stories, and I think it just shows the dedication it takes. And I'm a sucker for a little bit of love, and I just think it's gorgeous. And I just guess she didn't feel the same because she didn't fight enough for what she believed in, and she got shipped off and married off. And yeah, it's very sad but very romantic, and I think it just reminds me a little of Romeo and Juliet. That's all for now, guys. Thank you for watching the video. I really hope you found this story interesting. If you're interested, you can look at the Wikipedia page, or I've been muttering about it non-stop on all my social media. So go ahead, check them all out, and I will see you all next week. Bye! Layla just splashed me. Thank you. You're really adding the atmosphere. Well done. Well done. Oh, no. Oh.
Fine. You do realize I'm going to keep that in, right? Bloopers.